Hello everybody, Ian here, and it's time to talk about the elephant in the room, the Eimco Loader. I've been umming and ahhing and thinking a lot about it for, well, ever since I started the idea of this project, and well, I've got to start solving the problems sometimes. So, to go back to the start, the very start, I saw my first Eimco Loader at Sudan Mines Underground Park in Virginia, Minnesota, back in 2011 it was, and I immediately thought, what a cool vehicle, what an interesting rail vehicle. I thought I would have to make one, so I took some photographs. I only took 3, but 2 of them were like straight on, and one was a 3/4 view because there wasn't much happening on the other side. So, but of course, now I look at my pictures, I think I should have taken more pictures. How did I start with these photographs to produce the drawing? Well, I started with these wheels from Peter Binney. I got some spare wheels, and I measured these up, and I thought, they look about right for the wheels on the Eimco Loader. So I started with these, and I sized up my side-on photograph against the wheels. You know, I pulled the photograph into my drawing program, my drafting program, which is Graphic on my iPad, and I enlarged the photograph to the right size for the wheel. And then, actually, quite by accident, I found some dimensions for the model of loader that this is a photograph of. And so I measured off on the photograph that I'd put into the drawing program. I measured that off against these prototype dimensions, and what do you know? As near as damn it was spot on. So from then on, it was just a simple task of like basically tracing the photograph to produce a drawing. And yeah, I've got a jump. I mean, it's a lot of long, hard work, and so yeah, I'm still working at it. And but I think right now I've got enough to start work on a prototype to see how I can get the thing to work. I've worked up my idea of what I want. I know that the model needs a little bit of forward motion. I'm going to have a lever hidden from view behind in the rock face, and I'm just going to be able to push the loader forward and backwards an inch or 2 to scoop the material up. And it also needs a little bit of lateral pivoting movement. That the lever that pushes the loader backwards and forwards is also going to have to act as a lever to rotate the loader slightly. So still work that. This is why I need a prototype. So I need to work that idea out, make sure it's going to work. And then, of course, the other motion is the overshooting, the flipping motion of the shovel that will tip into the wagon behind, and that's the piece that gives me the most cause for concern, and that'll probably be taking quite a while to do. So I'll get on and we'll see how far we get right now. Here we are then, one day into the project, and I can report some progress, some successful progress, and here it is. This is a proof of concept more than anything of the basic shell of the Eimco Loader. We have a chassis and we have a basic body that actually rotates, so that's pretty good. I'm pretty excited about that. The chassis, there's nothing too exciting, just built a box out of 0.75mm styrene, though on reflection I think when I do the final thing I will be building it out of 1mm styrene for a bit more rigidity. So and then the body, I put a large styrene pin in there and a hole in there, and so that rotates quite comfortably. So that's a win on those two situations. So quite happy with the way things have gone so far. And now it's time to get onto the third motion, the one that causes me the most trepidation, and that is the overthrow motion of the tipper. Now the key thing to this is going to be getting two arms connected to the shovel that are exactly the same, so that the overthrow motion is smooth. So how do I do that? How do I get to draw and cut two complicated shapes that are exactly the same? Well, I'm going to take a leaf out of Michael Scott at his Chandwell N-scale layout YouTube channel. When he's cutting parts out for his buildings, he transfers them to sticky labels and then sticks the labels onto the cardboard or whatever his chosen substrate is, and then cuts them out. So he has the pieces exactly the size that he needs them. So that's what I'm going to do. I have the drawing here of, well, this is kind of like a working drawing of the Eimco Loader, where I've duplicated the drawing of the arms. And so what I'm going to do is then stick those to a sheet of styrene and then cut them out of the styrene. So they should, in theory, both be exactly the same. So here we are. Here's one I prepared earlier. Here they are. They are ready. They're stuck down to the styrene just with Elmer's glue, Elmer's school glue, and we're just going to like cut them out and see what happens. So I'll see you on the other side of this particular operation. This curve here is the crucial one. This is the curve that the rotation is around, so we need to make sure that we get this one pretty well perfect, and very nervous about this actual cut. And of course I've got to do it twice, so that's a week's worth of progress on the Eimco Loader prototype. We have forwards and backwards motion. We have sideways. We have a rotational motion. And now, as I just gave away there, we have a tipping motion. So a lot to feel good about, but also a lot to do. So I'm immensely pleased with the tipping motion, but I've also had to come to terms with it's not good. It's not good enough. It's not right. So, first thing you might be able to notice is that the bucket and the arms actually slide along the base of the body, so the shovel doesn't get to do its full range of motion. The full range of motion should take it to about there, so it is able to tip into the wagon behind, but because it slides along this base, then it doesn't do that. So that needs some work. We need weight and we need friction, because there is no weight in this being made of plasticard, and there is no friction there either because it's made of shiny plasticard rubbing on shiny plasticard. So a lot to work on there. I think I know an idea. I think I have an idea for getting the friction, and the weight might have to be liquid gravity stuck inside the curve of the arms there. So I'll be trying that, I think. Now, the other thing is the motion. If you've watched an Eimco Loader, the motion is very quick and very, very deliberate. It goes straight back, it tips, and then returns. So what I have is a hand wound rod mounted underneath the floor here. You should be able to see that, and this cable wraps around the rod and then tips the shovel. Now, my hand winding is not the same. I mean, my hand winding is slow and deliberate like that, whereas the Eimco Loader in the prototype is very strong and purposeful. So things need to be worked on there. Now, one way would be to have a larger diameter cable drum rod underneath there, but this is very, very tight for space under there, so I'm not sure I could actually fit in a larger cable drum. And then the only other way to do that, to get around that, would be to have gearing, and I'm not even sure how to do that, how to work out some gears for this. So it's, after 1 week, I've got to be really pleased with what I've got so far. What I've done so far is a lot of excellent problem solving. I mean, I have recreated the movement of the Eimco Loader. I mean, I've got to be really pleased with that. But having got to this stage, I now realize I still have an awful long way to go. There we are then. I've got to be pretty pleased with that for a week's work, but also there's still a long way to go, as I say. I'll think more about what I've got to do next. And I also have something else. In this box here is another project. Just arrived today, actually, that did. So that's going to remain rather secret for a while. So that's a good week's work. Quite happy, quite sobered up as well, because I've got to realize what I actually still have to do. So anyway, it was fun. That is the most important thing. You know, it's just like I always say, build that model, lay that track, run that train, but above all, have fun. And we'll see you next time.